Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to play with my art journaling and I'm going to use the gel press to create the background. Everything I'm using you can find down below. So for this particular art journal page, I would like to do a layering technique. And I'm going to layer the acrylic paint down first, and then I am going to let it dry, follow it up by using a stencil. The paint that I'm using is Art by Marlene, and the colors are just lovely. This is Kermit, and again, I will have things listed down below for you. I'm just spreading this out on my gel press. It's an 8x10, and then I'm going to brayer it out a little bit, and then from there, continue to work on the background until I get the desired effect that I want. There is a little bit too much paint on my brayer, so it's important that I wipe the excess off on a scratch piece of paper like I'm doing off to the side. One thing that you want to do when you are laying paint on the gel press is it's better to do a little bit and then add more as you go along. It actually really maintains the moisture level, and a little goes a long way. I have to let this background dry before I move on to the next step, but before I do that, I want to just pop in some beautiful lavender. This can be a little bit risky because purple is known as the color of sin, meaning it does not play well with anything other than pure blue or pure red, and I'm mixing it in with green. However, it had dried enough, the undercoat of it had dried enough that it maintained its integrity. So now that that's dry, I'm gonna pop on this stencil here, and I am going to at first, I just try to pick it up with a little sponge and pop it on in, but I discovered that I waste a lot of paint that way. So I just go ahead and directly apply it to the stencil, and I do this with another color as well. Now, if you are enjoying content like this and you want to see more paper crafting, art journaling, card making, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. That's what I do. I work with a couple different companies, and I like to explore how different products work and also show you guys different ways you can use things. I also try to be fiscally responsible in the sense that I try to get a lot of bang for my buck, so you'll be able to see how to really stretch your products with me. If that's something that you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, making sure you hit that notification bell, and that way you can get notified every time I have a new video coming out. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. And if you enjoy this video, please like it and share it. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish up this stencil right here and layer on another one in a really gorgeous red. Once everything dries, you're going to want to take a white. I'm using the lace, which is a beautiful white in the line. And you're going to want to do a really thin layer over the entire image. You want to make sure that you can see the layers beneath it. Then just lay your paper down. I'm just using the mixed media paper for my art journal. That also is from Art by Marlene. It's down in the bottom. And I am just really rubbing in that paper, making sure that it's adhered nicely to the gel press plate. And then I go through with my fingers and check it a little bit. Again, just taking brayer off the back. I like to use the brayer on this because it does two things. It cleans off the brayer and it also allows for a nice it to adhere nicely. And then look how gorgeous this is when I pull it up. It's so pretty. The colors are just beautiful and muted. Now, if you don't like your background, that's okay. Remember, it's just a background. It's not your centerpiece of your art journal. I'm going to go ahead and take this rubber stamp set, use some archival ink because I am stamping over acrylic. And I'm just going to pop down pretty haphazardly with my fingers. I'm not even putting it on an acrylic block. Just going to stamp in some spots, a couple of different areas. I like to use black because it helps the eye rest a little bit. And when we put our image on, it just makes everything go together really well. I'm not going to use all of the stamps on here. I'm just going to use a couple of these, but I didn't really have a rhyme or reason. I was just having some fun. It's important that you stamp off of the paper too. It's pleasing to the eye. So always make sure that you go off the paper in some spots as well. It just looks really nice and it makes the whole thing look super cohesive. And then from here, I found an image out of this gorgeous line and it's out of this world. That's the one I'm going to use. But there's so much fun images in there and I fussy cut it and there she is. She's just beautiful. And I want to offset her a little bit. So I'm going to cut off a portion of her, but I am going to use almost everything. So I'm just going to set that aside and just cut that down. The glue that I'm using is the Dilutions glue by Ranger. And I just make sure that I go around all the edges really well. That's the most important thing, is to get the edges. And we want those to adhere. If the edges are here, you're good to go. And then at this point, I realized that I can use that portion of her hair that I cut off for the flowers and put it down so she's like kind of coming out of a beautiful rose bush or flower bush or something like that. And I just take a pair of scissors and just clip off the edge right there. And then I'm not done yet. I want to go ahead and add a sentiment to this. And so I'm going to use these by Sticky Quotes. And I've been going through some stuff, so this quote just seemed appropriate for this page. And I kind of play with it a little bit, looking for the right spot. Eventually, it lands up there. Then I want to put some gems in the center of her flowers, and so I go ahead and just adhere those down from there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check me out on Instagram where I have a shot of this there. Until next time, I'm Butts Golden. Happy crafting.